You ever suspected that maybe a lack of mobility in your shoulders and your shoulder blades might be causing problems in your arms? Well, if so, you're right. Today we're talking about two exercises that are geared to help symptoms in the arms and in the wrists, especially for carpal tunnel. In fact, I've made a video about carpal tunnel syndrome and addressing it using postural therapy. The link is in the cards above. These two exercises are shoulder shrugs and shoulder rolls. I'm going to be covering them both because you're never going to do just one or the other so far as I've seen in postural therapy. We're always wanting to incorporate both of these ranges of motion when we're talking about reestablishing function in the arms. So let's get into these two exercises. First, we're covering shoulder shrugs. This is a simple exercise. All we're going to need is a wall. And like so many other exercises that I've covered on my channel, we're going to be putting our heels as close to the wall as possible. We're going to be wanting to make sure that our big toes are angled in about 5 to 10 degrees. That is when our feet are actually pointing straight ahead. This is going to help ensure proper hip function throughout this exercise. From there, we're going to put our hips against the wall. We're going to put both our shoulders against the wall, and if possible, we're going to put the head against the wall as well. If you've got really severe forward head posture, your head may not touch. Don't worry about that to start with. Keep on doing your postural therapy exercises every day. Eventually, that head will come back and be able to touch the wall in a comfortable fashion. From here, the exercise is very simple. We're going to let our arms hang in a relaxed manner, and we're just going to move the shoulder blades up and move them down and together. This is going to be this is going to be it right here. And we are reestablishing the proper range of motion for elevation and de-elevation of the shoulder blades without any of that slouch posture that is so common these days. So we're promoting thoracic extension while getting our shoulder blades to function properly in this simple motion. Now, what if you have problems with not being able to get your hips or your back against the wall, or your shoulders against the wall? Well, that might be a good time to consider investing in one of these, a slant board. As you can see, this allows you to go through multiple angles against the wall for more flexion, dorsiflexion in your ankles. And we're just going to set it against the wall, step onto it, and this is going to help decrease rotational disparities and compensations in the lower body to an even higher degree than just that standing wall position. And from here, it's just the exact same thing. We're going to elevate and lower and tuck those shoulder blades. So it's a very simple exercise. And here's provide you with another modification just in case you can't do it in the proper form. Now let's get on to the exercise that is pretty much always paired with shoulder shrugs, shoulder rolls. So with shoulder rolls, we don't need to be against the wall because we're going to be taking our shoulders through a forward and backwards range of motion as well as the up and down range of motion. Now, before we get started, this applies to this exercise and shoulder shrugs. A lot of people are going to be tempted to pick up some weights and start doing these exercises with weights in your hand, thinking that that's going to make the process go faster. Well, that'll be okay down the road once you've already fixed the postural problems here. But those weights are going to slow you down initially, I promise you that. They're going to start incorporating other muscle groups that your body just isn't ready to handle if you're having these postural problems. So resist that urge, and here we go with shoulder shrugs, or shoulder rolls, I'm sorry. This is going to be in the same thing with the lower body. We want to make sure that our feet are hip width apart, big toes angled in, just like in the previous exercise. And from here, we're going to do a full shoulder roll. We are going back, up, forward, down. Back, up, forward, down. And we're going to do 2 sets of 10 there, and then we're going to reverse it. Forward, up, back, down. Forward, up, back, down. Forward, up, back, down. And it really is just that simple for shoulder rolls. Now this one, we don't have the slant board modification because if we were against the wall, we would be pushing our body forward and backwards. Now, pay careful attention to what I was not doing when I did those exercises. When I went forward, I wasn't letting my upper body bend backwards. When I put my shoulder blades back, I wasn't letting my upper body lean forwards. I'm keeping my upper body completely stationary throughout both of those ranges of motion. So those are the finer points that you want to make sure you're paying attention to when you're doing shoulder shrugs and shoulder rolls. Oh my God, it's hard to say. So if you want to know how I incorporate these, especially for carpal tunnel pain, be sure to check out the video in the cards or in the description down below for full instructions about how to use a sequence of 7 simple exercises to reduce that carpal tunnel, wrist pain, numbness, tingling, all the cramps, all the stuff that comes along with it. Be sure to check that out.